We live in a world where everything is online, even me, if you're watching this after the singularity, that is. That being said, the internet has done wonders for us as a civilization. Some people might even say the internet was like the second coming of fire, and the third coming of fire is going to be AI, but that's a different conversation altogether. The internet has done amazing things and some not so amazing things, but one of the greatest things it's done is connected people across the world in so many different ways, across so many different platforms, and even in my favorite choice of platform, which is gaming. The ultimate form of media. Why is it the ultimate form of media? Because it literally has every other form of media in it. You like to read, you like paintings, you like music, you like pictures, you like videos, they're all in games. And by the way, gaming and game development in terms of software and hardware may actually be the key in the future to find out if we are in fact in a simulation. Whoa. I know that's another conversation for another time. These are the kinds of things we talk about when we're on stream, in case you was wondering. Although the internet has done wonders in terms of transforming the way we play games and share games and enjoy games, it's also doing something a little bit negative too. But it depends how you choose to view this thing. Now, I don't know where this quote is from or where I heard it from, but I've heard it many a times. There's an old saying now, right, if you're watching this after a singularity, is that you will own nothing and you'll be happy. In a very zen kind of way, that's totally dope. No attachments to the world, no strings, just moving through life and experiencing it. But in a consumerist kind of way, and not just a consumerist kind of way, like the importance of memory, like remembering things, holding on to memories, you know, it's not such a good thing. And one of the problems that the internet has helped to feed into is the fact that a lot of our games are online. They're no longer physical media. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that's a great thing, because I remember there being times where I was like desperate to play a different game and I only had like CDs and I wish I could just go to a shop across the road or down the road and just buy a new game, and I couldn't. And then they came out with the PlayStation Store and PS3, and then I was like, oh wow, I can just buy a game, wait for it to download, remember those days, and just enjoy a game on the spot, like within a couple hours. And it was good, it was great, it was brilliant, and it still is. But the problem we're seeing with that is kind of what reared its head in 2020 with the release of PlayStation 5, and that was purely digital versions. I respect it, I understand, like any industry, the point is it's a business, and the business model is to make money, right, in whatever way it can. So that might be renting games or paying per hour or paying subscriptions, various different ways that people make money in industry. And obviously, what did we just say? Gaming is also an industry. I definitely appreciate online stores. A lot of the games I own are actually digital copies. The beautiful thing is, when you're talking about digital copies, sometimes you can get like steals, like AAA games for really cheap on discounts and stuff like that. And that's a wonderful thing. But at the same time, sometimes you can get bumped because you go and get the digital copy not knowing that the actual physical copy is much cheaper, right, and actually more available than you think. But that's another conversation. What are we even talking about then if they're all different conversations? Well, I want to shout out to the people that are in a campaign called Stop Killing Games.
Wow. Okay, so I'm launching the largest ever campaign to stop video games from being destroyed. Yeah, destroyed. Like when a game shuts down, you can never run it again, but the publisher keeps your money. Money! Yeah, it's only in the US where that crap flies. Worldwide, it hasn't been tested. Lots of countries literally don't have laws on this. I've been spending months researching and organizing where to take action on this. We're doing this in two ways. The first is Ubisoft has recently shut down The Crew, which had at least 12 million players. So if you own that game, you can help out. The Crew! The second is we're doing direct government initiatives for the UK, Canada, and Australia, but we'll try to have more. Anyone living there can sign those and maybe get the law to change. Go to stopkillinggames.com and it'll tell you what to do. Yeah! If you don't like losing your games, this is literally your only chance to change that. You will have to fill out forms though, I'm sorry. Oh man! Alright, enough of this portrait mode crap. If you're in the EU, you can still contact members of European Parliament to support the Stop Destroying Video Games initiative. And you, and people from several other European countries, can add a comment to the Digital Fairness Act, asking politely if they can add protections from publishers destroying video games you've already paid for. And I guess if you're in the UK, you can still contact members of Parliament to support the government petition to stop destroying games there. Though I won't lie, the UK situation is a lot iffier. Finally, this one's a shot in the dark, but I've been advised if anyone has connections to the EU Commission, specifically mid-level admin workers, that could be very helpful. You can contact me or the official spokesperson. His contact info is on the initiative page.
The problem that online markets and digital-only platforms create is the damage that we're going to see in preserving media, preserving hardware and preserving software. You might say, so who cares, right? Well, you probably never watched Titan A.E, which is a DVD I watched nearly every night as a little kid. What was the point of Titan A.E? Here we go, long story short. Basically, the world as we knew it, Earth, was about to be destroyed. I think it was like an alien invasion or something like that. And civilization moved out into the stars and they were just out there just doing their thing kind of thing. Long story short, this dude finds a ring that his dad and the people on Earth had set up, and he takes this ring to a place called the Ark. What is an Ark? Basically, like Noah's Ark, it was a storage of all of Earth's data, biological data, actual data, seeds, plants, DNA. They preserved all the information there is to know about Earth in this Ark. And him being able to get the Ark was him being able to restart the Earth. He called the Earth Bob in the end, by the way, which is jokes. I love that. Maybe we should start calling the Earth Bob. So why does any of that matter? Who cares about human history? Well, what would happen if there was an extinction level event that only left behind people that weren't very clever, like Dr. Stone? They might need some direction as to what can be done and what has been done already, and access to that. That's where archiving information comes in. Every country has an archive. That's musical archives, media archives, newspapers, books, you name it. And again, DNA, right? In the future, we'll be storing data on DNA. It's just not feasible yet. Financially, and the speed to read and write isn't great either. But we'll be getting there. And if you're watching this after the singularity, remember me. Alright, and if you're wondering why we talk about these kinds of things, because I talk about these things on stream. So join me for a stream one day. Quick plug. There are also issues to having physical media too. Physical media can deteriorate. It doesn't last sometimes if not looked after. I think about all the different variations or media platforms that we've seen in our lifetime. If you're a millennial, if you're a bit older or whatnot, we've seen tapes, CDs, videotapes, floppy disks, MP3 players, USB sticks, HDDs to SSDs. Like, we've seen it progress a lot, and it's only going to progress more in the future. But the problem is, when you're talking about physicals, it has pros and it has cons. Physical, you actually own what you bought. Well, at least you own it physically, because licensing's another matter altogether. But at least you know, if everything was to switch off in the world, right, as long as there's no EMP or anything like that, you've got your physical copy there, and you've got the physical hardware to run the physical copy of whatever it is you want to enjoy. So you're good, you're kind of covered. But of course, the issues that come with physical storage is looking after it, make sure it doesn't deteriorate, the actual physical space it takes up, and occasionally really bad people that steal stuff. And then there's, like, you know, fire, loss, all these kinds of things are considered too, which is why online storage is really good too. So there's pros and cons to this conversation. But just because we're moving forward in technology, it doesn't mean we have to throw everything that we've already achieved in the bin. Games are an art form. They are masterfully crafted. It's no different to going to a museum and enjoying a painting from hundreds of years ago, except it's the new media. And it's gonna be the greatest media mankind's ever seen so far, until we figure out something new, right? Maybe like I don't know, like spirit jumping or something. Who knows? Maybe we'll get some Avatar type stuff, right? Who knows? But for now, it's the greatest media mankind's ever seen. And those who don't understand that, they're just late. They're just they're late adopters, right? Or late adopters. But us early adopters, we know what's up, right? So I've talked about this before. The importance of bringing old technology back to life, giving it a second lease on life. A couple of reasons why it's really important to preserve old technology, that's hardware and software, is one, because of history. We need to know what we've done and what we've achieved and keep track of that as a species, human, right? We're evolving and we're still going to evolve, but we need to know what we've done to know where we're going to go. That's why we record history. That's one reason. But then there's going back to use things. Now, there's particular situations where hybrid, sometimes analog and digital combinations from the earlier days of tech, have an issue where it's formatted in a specific way and you need specific hardware or specific software to access old data. Now, if those things are no longer available anymore, what are you left with? You've got a dud drive, or you got a dud piece of tech, or you know what? And it makes it problematic, especially if we're moving through time with data. One of the big things, right, get a little bit tinfoil hatish here, one of the biggest scares about the early 2000s, right, was the Y2K thing. And that was basically about data loss and like the system messing up, because it was an old system switching over to a new system. Now, of course, it never happened in all of the tinfoil hat ways, but it's still a concern. That's just two random reasons why it's important to preserve old tech. But I've talked about this before in this video right here. It's important for younger people to know that you don't have to chase tech. Technology is gonna upgrade and keep going as fast as it needs to go, and faster every year. You don't need to always chase trends. It's not always viable, it's not always ethical, and it's not always possible. Technology is gonna keep technology in forever. The jumps in technology like microchips, it's going to keep going. As long as we can provide the resources, etc., it's going to keep growing. But financially, for you as a young person or an old person, I want to encourage you to go and pick up an older computer. Work on it. Yeah, a 64, a PlayStation 1, a PlayStation 2, 3, an Xbox, whatever you can get your hands on, and go and enjoy the physical libraries. Now, if we do that more often, then we tackle waste for one. We don't chase trends and we don't let marketing do us in. We stay quite grounded in reality. Put it like this, it's 2025 and I still haven't upgraded from PS4. I've said this story 100 times and I'll say it again. The only reason I upgraded from a PS3 to a PS4 in 2019 was because I wanted to play a specific game. Otherwise, I never would have bothered. And that issue is something that we still deal with every new gen. Now, I'm not telling you to not go out and experience the new gen consoles and new tech. That'd be silly. We make new tech for a reason. Enjoy it, experience it, but take time. There are so many old libraries of games, consoles and stuff you missed that you need to, I don't want to say need, you don't need to do anything, that you should go back and check out. Preserve these things. Like, it's really sad sometimes I think about my older brother's consoles and games he had as a young man and I used to sneak and play that he no longer has, and it'd be like, man, it's a similar thing with Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff like that. As a kid, I had loads of them. At a certain age, you grow out of it and you just forget about it. It's like Toy Story and these old toys. They're just like, where did they disappear to? I don't know. But in the future, it's like, oh, look, they're worth lots of money. Should have kept them. That situation is going to continue to happen. So don't be caught out. Go back and experience that old tech. But what I will encourage you to do, if I could possibly do this, is go and support your local game merchant. Wherever they are, whatever they do, they got a shop, they're individual, they're running a Facebook market, and eBay, whatever. Go and support them and buy some games from them and build up your library. So when the time comes for you to experience some old stuff that you want to experience or share some old stuff to the younger generation, you have it at hand to be able to do that. If everything is online, then it's very easy to lose it. You could simply just not be able to log into your account one day and it's all gone. Or like what we saw happen to that trophy guy.
This dude is the #1 PlayStation gigasimp, and Sony stole his data before banning his account. A hardcore trophy hunter of 17 years shared his story about his PSN account being banned for seemingly no reason. And by hardcore, I mean he holds 2,306,475 PSN trophy points, more than anyone in history. He goes by Hakum, and after the ban, he started receiving WhatsApp messages claiming that his data was being leaked and that someone's going around bribing PlayStation employees to steal user data before selling the login info. After contacting support, they gave Hakum some pretty nonsensical violations, include logging into 29 different consoles using over 2,000 different accounts, getting platinum trophies way too quickly, and even getting some of the trophies with just 0 minutes of playing time.
Just recently, Sony started banning PSN accounts overnight and giving no refunds for the games players bought. If an account is registered in Turkey or Kazakhstan and you play from Russia, they ban the account. Players do this because Sony pulled out of Russia and all local accounts are currently on hold. So the only option is to get an account from another country. The worst part is that since Sony no longer trades in Russia, players can't even sue.
And just like that, everything you worked for and built up over the years is gone. Now the same thing can happen with physicals, so sometimes you might want to have a copy of both if you're that way inclined. But I'm just saying, consider where you are in this point in history and what the future is going to be like. And if you're watching this after the singularity, remember me. No, I'm joking. But seriously, stop killing games and preserve old tech as much as you can. Preserving old tech is good for the environment in terms of not buying into overconsumption and chasing trends. The more you purchase things, the higher the demand is, the more it has to be made. So just consider that. Just take time. And when all these fools, that might be you and it might be me, sell off their old stuff, me and you will be there with our t-shirts out or a nice net to catch them for a decent price and enjoy them for decades to come. So there'll be a time to experience new tech, but appreciate what you have now. Is that what the moral of this story is? Appreciate what you have right now. Appreciate what you have right now. Appreciate what you have right now. Sounds old. Alright, so I appreciate everyone that has tuned in and thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, leave a comment. Tell me what you think, if there's anything I missed. And seriously, go enjoy some old games. I'm sat next to some right now. It's jokes to call these old, but yes, I'm making a video about these, which you'll be able to see if you stay subscribed.